Warning, the video that you're about to watch may freak you out, so proceed with caution. Hey guys, it's Kayla. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be telling you guys a story about a time when I was 16 years old and unknowingly brought a haunted doll into my home. I'm about to fill you in on all of the little details, but I was just thinking about this story the other day and I thought, you know what, why don't I just share this with YouTube, because it is quite creepy, and every time I think about it, it kind of just like gives me the chills. Ugh. I thought that you guys might enjoy hearing this story because it was very real and it was very strange. So this story took place back in 2015. I was 16 years old at the time, and I remember it was a summer day in July, and me, my brother, and my grandma went to the Red, White, and Blue store. And if you don't know what the Red, White, and Blue store is, it's pretty much like a thrift store, because we always do this thing called junk hunting, and we see what we could find at like the Goodwill, the Red, White, and Blue store, any thrift store. It's just something fun that we've done for a while. So anyway, we were just looking around the thrift store. I remember going to the stuffed animal section because my grandma needed a big bag of Beanie Babies for one of the classes she was teaching. And I came across this doll. I remember it had like a clown outfit on and clown face paint, and for some reason, I was just drawn to this doll. I remember thinking it looked really vintage, like maybe it could be worth something because it just looked really old, and I think it had like a glass face. There was just something about it that I felt really attached to. And actually, guys, you're gonna be very happy because I have a picture of the doll in my phone, and I'll tell you why. So, since I was 14, I've actually kept like this little phone diary on an app called Gratitude 365 so that you could like write about your day. And with this app in particular, you can also attach a picture of like something that resembled your day. So, before filming this, I made sure that I found my old phone and found this picture for you. So here is the picture of the doll right here. I'm gonna zoom in for you. Like I said, it had this like clown face paint, and it was so freaky looking at it now. And here's another picture. I have two, okay? So anyway, I remember showing it to my grandma and being like, oh my gosh, grandma, for some reason I feel like I need this doll. And she was just kind of like, oh my gosh, you're ridiculous. That's $6, and like why would you want that? And honestly, I didn't even know why I wanted it. Like, yeah, I looked at it, thought it was kind of creepy, but like why I felt like I needed to take it home with me, I have no idea. I ended up leaving without the doll, and it was so weird. I remember thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it constantly. I don't think there was an hour that went by where I wasn't thinking about this doll. Like, I just kept thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I need to go back and get that doll. I need to go back and get that doll. Again, I have no explanation as to why I felt like I needed it. It's not like I collected them or anything. I didn't know. It was kind of weird. So anyways, 2 days went by. I remember I was with my mom and my grandma, and we were like shopping. And I remember talking about the doll again and just telling them, this is really weird, but whenever we went to the thrift store the other day, there was this doll, and I showed them the picture, and I said, I feel like it's calling my name, like I need to go back and get it. And like, I can't make this up, guys. It was just the strangest thing. And I remember my mom and my grandma were just kind of thinking like it was just funny, or like I wasn't actually being serious. But I brought it up so much that eventually my mom was like, okay, fine, I will take you back to the Red, White, and Blue store and you can get that doll. I was probably getting really annoying just by talking about it so much, so my mom actually drove me 45 minutes to go get this doll that I just needed to have. This was 2 days after I discovered it, like I said. Went right to the stuffed animal section, and once again, it was still sitting there in the exact same spot. Nobody picked it out. Nobody brought it home with them. It's no wonder. I mean, the doll was literally so creepy. But anyway, I was so excited. I remember getting it in my hands, and it's not like I wanted to like hug it and like put it in my room or anything like that. It wasn't like I thought it was cute. I needed to take it home. So I paid like $6.25 for it or something. I don't know exactly how much it was, but I remember it was around $6. Watch, it was probably like $6.66. How much you want to bet? Honestly, that should have been its price, because maybe it would have been a little warning, because I had no idea what was going to come out of this. Just give me a second to explain what I mean. So I took it home with me, I propped it up, and it was leaning like against my bed. It wasn't on my bed, but it was like leaning against my bed, like by my bed skirt. Guys, I kid you not, weird stuff started happening the very night I brought it home. I remember that this night in particular, me and my mom were the only two home, and we were really excited about it because we said we were gonna watch like movies together and just have like a fun night. So my dad wasn't home, my brother wasn't home. It was just the two of us, right? Anyway, so I remember my mom and I going outside to play fetch with my two dogs, Kipper and Tigger. And anytime we go outside with the dogs, we always kind of leave our back door cracked open so that they could come in and out if they get thirsty, need to get a drink, or whatever. So we always have that door cracked open for them. Anyway, like I said, we were like throwing the ball to them and we were having a good time. We were probably out there for maybe like 10-15 minutes. And I remember we were going inside because we were starting to get bit by mosquitoes, and the door was shut. It was kind of weird that the door had been shut because, like I said, it's always like cracked open. But not only was it shut, it wouldn't open. Like, the door was locked. And I remember just thinking like, wait, what? Why is the door locked? I remember going up to my mom and asking like, is dad home? Is Scotty, my brother, home? Because the door is locked and I thought we were the only ones here. Like, we literally left it open. And I remember her looking at me and saying, no, they're not gonna be home till like 10:30. And I was like, okay, well, the door is locked. And she just kind of looked at me and went over to try to open it herself. And she looked at me and was like, oh my gosh, like, why is this door locked? We were both really freaked out because, like, how could that happen? In order for that door to be locked, somebody would literally have to be inside the house and lock it themselves. It doesn't just lock automatically, you know what I mean? So anyway, I remember we went through my fence and we got in through the front door. So we thought that was really, really weird. And I remember we were both like talking about it for like 20 minutes because we were just thinking, oh my gosh, could it be this doll? Could it be this doll? But we were kind of like joking about it. Like, it was still kind of lighthearted. We didn't really think much of it. Like, we thought it was weird, obviously, but we weren't being serious when we blamed it on the doll. Anyways, so this story is not over yet. My mom and I decided that it would be a fun idea to watch some scary movies because, like I said, we had the house to ourselves and that's like our favorite thing to do. Me and my mom always watch scary movies together. So I remember we were watching the scary movie and about halfway through I told her to pause it because I wanted to make some popcorn because, I mean, popcorn makes every movie better, you know what I mean? I remember going into the kitchen and I kid you not, one of the biggest knives from our kitchen was sitting on the floor. The knife was sitting on the floor, and like I said, it was probably the biggest knife we had. And I remember thinking that it was my mom, like, trying to joke around and play tricks on me because we were both talking about, like, how weird it was that the door was locked and we were blaming it on the doll, but we weren't, like, genuinely scared about it, so I thought maybe my mom was just trying to freak me out or something. So I remember looking into the living room and being like, okay, Mom, like, that was really funny, but you didn't have to put a knife on the floor, like, I'm not gonna be fooled that easily. And I remember she looked terrified, genuinely terrified. She was like, Kayla, I don't know what you're talking about. And it's really easy to tell if my mom is telling the truth and being serious or if she's like joking around. And I could tell that she was being serious. And then that made my heart sink and I was like, okay, how in the world would this giant knife make its way out of the kitchen drawer and just onto the kitchen floor? We weren't cooking anything that night that involved any knives. We were the only two people there, and clearly, like, none of my dogs would do that. I mean, there was no logical explanation. And at this point, me and my mom were both really starting to get freaked out because we both knew that we didn't put the knife there and we both knew that none of us went inside to lock the door. So these two things were just kind of starting to freak us out a little bit. So anyway, I remember we stopped watching our scary movie since, you know, that was just like too much. I remember we watched something like happier after that because, you know, who else watches something happy after watching scary movies? Because I do. But especially with those two things happening, we needed to watch something happier. We get a call from my dad, and he told us, I mean, this thing I'm about to tell you could have had nothing to do with the doll, But it was just like all of these events that happened all at once that made me question whether or not it did have something to do with it. So my dad tells us that his grandfather died, and that was my great-grandfather. And it was just like one of those things where you can't even believe what you're hearing. Like, all these creepy things were happening, and now all of a sudden my great-grandpap died, and he wasn't even like sick to begin with. I mean, he was older, of course, but it was just too weird, and we didn't feel comfortable anymore with that doll being in the house. So I remember my mom like put it on our back porch. I mean, it was still kind of like technically in our house, but not really, because it was like on the back porch. But we were both kind of just like in shock. Like, all of these weird things were happening, and I swear all this stuff happened within like 2 or 3 hours. So that was really, really weird. And like I said, maybe the doll really had absolutely nothing to do with the fact that my great-grandpa passed away that same exact night, but I mean, I couldn't help but to question it, honestly. The energy in the house just felt heavier, and it was so odd. I can't even explain it, guys. It's like, ever since I brought the doll into the house, everything from the minute I brought it in the house, everything just got weird. So my mom actually ended up throwing the doll away. I had no idea she threw it away. I remember like 2 days went by and I was like, wait, Mom, where's that doll? And she was like, oh, I threw that away that night. And I didn't even know she did that. So I guess my mom was like obviously genuinely freaked out about everything for her to actually just throw it away. I mean, we went all the way, 45 minutes out of our way, to go to that red, white, and blue store to get this doll. But like I said, she ended up just throwing it away. And just because I just found my little diary entry of all the events that went on that day. And I literally mentioned everything that I just said to you guys in this little entry. So this happened on July 11th, 2015. I'm just going to jump into the part where I begin talking about the doll. Okay, so this is, I went to 7-Eleven, got a free slushie. After that, Mom took me to get my clown doll at the red, white, and blue store that was calling my name. Calling my name. Then we came home and Mom and I watched scary shows and weird stuff happened. And then I put number 1, the lock. And what I mean by that is like how the door was locked. And then I put number 2, the knife. Number 3, Pappy Tappy died. That's what we called my great-grandpap. And yeah, so I have a whole little entry about it right there. So here is an actual picture of the doll. Like I said, I had it leaning right up against my bed skirt. Those were my bed sheets in the background. So that's a picture of the doll. And then I have another one right here. This was when it was still at the Goodwill. So yeah, pay close attention to its outfit and like the way it was made. If you have any ideas whatsoever on like where this doll might have come from or how old it is, let me know. Anyways, guys, so that was my story. I hope that you enjoyed listening to this. Let me know if this story creeped you out in any way, shape, or form. Has anything similar ever happened to you? Honestly, if you have anything to say about this story whatsoever, leave it in the comments below because I'd love to hear from you guys and I'd love to hear what you have to say. But anyways, I love you so much and I will talk to you in my next video. I hope I didn't scare you too bad, but yeah, I love you guys. Bye! Mwah.